Hello YouTubers and RC fans, this is Ryan Robinson again here, and today we're going to take a look at my Tekno EB48SL. I know it's been a while since I've done a review, and this one is going to be kind of different because I'm going to start this review off with a rant. And basically my rant is, yes, I realize that this is not the kit version of the Tekno EB48SL. I got this one used. This was originally a SCT-410 from Tekno that the previous owner converted to an electric model. So this is basically a Generation 1 EB48SL. So yes, I realize that this is not the kit version, but I also realize that this product has been out on the market for a considerable amount of time, and I just want to give just an honest opinion about what I've seen in this car so far. And there's a bunch of people on the planet, and who knows, maybe some of them might be interested in buying this car. So I really just want to explain in this video my personal thoughts and kind of who this vehicle is for and just kind of what it can do. So that being said, let's get into this review. So I mentioned before that this car is a SCT 410. So basically all this is just a short course truck with 17mm hex adapters that add some width to the whole vehicle to basically make sure this chassis meets 8th scale specs. As a result, the entire suspension layout, suspension components, those are all straight off of the SCT 410. So basically they're not going to be as thick or as big as the components found on the EB48.3. However, even though these components are smaller, in general it all adds up to make the car a lot lighter. And since the car is a lot lighter, that means there's a lot less force acting on these parts in a crash, so they don't break as easily. This vehicle is very durable, but we will get into that later. And I also want to point out that the battery tray can accept either two 2S lipos or one 4S. Now, if you decide to run 4S in this car, you will need to purchase the bigger battery straps for the EB48.3. The ones that come on the kit version of this car are designed for a 2S lipo pack only. And also, since we're talking about 2S and 4S lipos, this car originally, was designed to run off of a 2S lipo battery, which you can do easily. However, if you want to run full 8th scale electronics, this vehicle's driveline can handle it. And speaking of driving, let's see some of that. First thing that I want to say about this car is that it is both agile and feels planted on the track. The lightness allows you to hold the line you want in the turns. One problem I had with other 8th scale e-buggies that I've driven is that when I come up to a corner and hit the brakes, the cars want to go wide, and I found it hard to stay close to the pipe in a turn. Since the Superlight is so much lighter, it's much easier to keep your lines tight when you go around a corner. The lightness of the car means the car is easier to slow down. The lightness also helps you get out of the corner too. Again, since there is less weight to move around, the car can accelerate faster out of a turn. What all this means is that you can go around corners easier and hold the tightest and fastest lines easier. And if you overshoot a corner, the ease of stopping and acceleration due to the lightness of the chassis helps you correct the mistake and make up time. Now, let's talk about durability. I mentioned before that the spindles, hub carriers, and rear hubs have less material than the parts on the EB48.3. So you might be thinking it's going to break easier. You have a valid point, but this car is a lot lighter than the EB48.3. So what that means is, when you have a bad wreck, you have less weight putting strain on those parts in a crash. This car can break, don't get me wrong, but so can every other car. But for the most part, this car is pretty tough. On one particularly bad crash, I broke a spindle, hub carrier, and a rear shock shaft. All this occurred when I was racing on a clay surface and I got hit from behind when going over a jump. Also, the two holes in the stub axle where the pin that holds the CVD goes through, those have worn out quick on several occasions. Thankfully, there are 6 holes on the stub axle, so when it does happen, you can just rebuild the CVD and use a different hole. I think this is due to the age of my car and not the fault of poor design. Also, when mounting the 17mm hex adapters, be sure to put a zip tie around the area where the pin goes in place that holds the adapters to the stub axle. I've heard that these pins can come out even if you tighten the set screw holding the pins in place all the way down. This prevents the pins from ever coming out. The one real problem I have with the kit version of this car is that it comes with plastic hinge pin holders. This is a weak point on the car and they need to be aluminum. However, if you buy all 4 aluminum hinge pin holders, that's around $100, which puts this car at the cost of the EB48.3, or somewhere close to that price point. If you are looking to save money, I would at least buy the frontmost aluminum hinge pin holder, since that one is the one that will be taking the most hits in a crash. Also, the shock towers can bend easily due to the material that they are made out of, so watch out for that. So, in closing, let's answer the question everyone has been asking since this car came out. Why should I buy this car over the EB48.3 or any other 8th scale e-buggy? Well, if you are someone who wants a light 8th scale e-buggy without spending extra money on upgrades to lighten it, wants to get into 8th scale e-buggy class on a budget, or someone that already races the SCT410, go with the EB48SL. This car is already lighter with a 4S setup than pretty much any other e-buggy, and you can lighten it further by running 2S electronics. This car is also about $110 less than the EB48.3, so you can use that money on other things like tires or electronics. Perhaps the biggest strength of this car is SCT410 parts compatibility. If you currently own a SCT410 and have a lot of spare parts for that truck, all of those parts will drop right onto the EB48SL, meaning you don't have to go out and buy extra parts if something on the EB48SL breaks. In closing, this is a great car that is fun to drive and is worth checking out. I do want to go ahead and say this is the last video I will be posting to this channel. I want to say thanks to everyone who has taken time out of their day to watch these reviews. I only do these reviews to help people make informed decisions about RC products. I will be doing other reviews on my other channel, as well as a vlog which will feature some RC stuff. The link to that channel will be in the description below. And last but not least, please visit my vlog and check it out. And please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Thanks again for watching. See you later.